Okay, so if you wanted to basically buy an iPhone 15 Pro Max, what you're looking at right now, if you were to go refurbished or used, so you're basically looking at about $989 USD, which is, let's just round up to $1,000 for a used iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is renewed from Amazon. Now, if you wanted to buy a brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max, this is what it's gonna run you. So brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max is basically gonna run you about $1199. Okay, that's a difference of about, give me a second. I'm sorry, this is so sad. I'm actually a chartered accountant by trade. That makes sense why I left it for YouTube. I absolutely suck with math. So that's gonna run you about $210 more USD. So the real question is now, if you're coming from an older iPhone, does it make more sense to just go with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, or should you spend that extra money and go with the 16 Pro Max or 16 Pro? Is the iPhone 16 a worthwhile upgrade, or is the iPhone 15 Pro Max just gonna be good enough? Now, make sure you guys watch till the end, because contrary to what you might think or people might be saying out there on the internet, I think the iPhone 16 Pro might be a fantastic upgrade for somebody, even if they own an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Might get a little bit controversial. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've been actually using both the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the 15 Pro Max for the past month. And today we're gonna break down a whole bunch of different things. We're gonna look at physical differences, we're gonna look at internal differences, the camera differences, and just basic usability in my experience using these phones. So yeah, let's get into it. First up, physical differences. I wanna actually talk to you guys quickly about the screen size. So we have basically 6.5 inches to 6.7 inches. And in theory, it doesn't sound that big, but in actual reality, using these phones, the iPhone 16 Pro Max feels quite a bit bigger. It feels almost unwieldy. Here's a look at how much bigger the 16 Pro Max actually is compared to the 15 Pro Max. Like, look at the bezel difference between both of these phones. It's very minute, but you can still tell that it's there. And in terms of phone sizes, you can tell that there's a slight difference here. Now, although the size difference does not seem too big at first look, I will say in actual usage, it's actually noticeable. So yes, it is slightly bigger, and I know on camera it doesn't seem that big, but in reality, when you're holding these phones, even like a slight increase in size is noticeable, because these phones are already so big. In usage, this phone being slightly taller, slightly wider, it just makes it more cumbersome to hold. But let's look at one thing that I was actually curious about. Now, the phone is slightly bigger, but does this actually result in more screen real estate, or are we just looking at, like, you know, bigger stuff? Okay, so here's a quick look at the actual size difference. You can see the full camera lens bump with the iPhone 16 Pro over here on their website versus over here, part of it is cut out. So yeah, there is a slight real estate difference here. Is this gonna be noticeable? Heck no, right? It's very, very minute, but if you were, you know, picky about this kind of stuff, then yeah, you get slightly more, maybe like one line of text more compared to the 15 Pro Max. And of course, if you're viewing content, this is basically what you're looking at. So this is the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and this is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Can you actually tell a difference? It is slightly bigger. I think I can actually tell a difference. It's not noticeable, but you can tell the car is slightly bigger on this versus the size on here. Let's just do like a quick experiment, okay? So I'm like mixing up the phones so you don't know which one is which, okay? Boom. Can you guess which one is the 15 Pro Max and which one is the 16 Pro Max? This is A and this is B. Comment in the comment section down below, and I'll let you guys know at the end of this video. I'm gonna take a peek right now under the table. Other than that, brightness, quality, etc., all are pretty much the exact same. Now, one thing that did change this year is color differences. This year we do have Desert Titanium, which does take the place of the blue, the dark blue color we had last year. This is a Desert Titanium color, and of course I did do a deep dive on the color selection like I do every single year. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll have it linked somewhere up here. Next, I wanted to also take a look. Is there a difference in terms of speakers? So let's go ahead and just play this video and see how this does.
All right, we're coming up to a retaining wall, so let's listen to it from
the inside with the
All right, we're coming up to a retaining wall, so let's listen to it from
the inside with the windows.
Okay, these sound exactly the same to me. I don't know, do you guys hear any difference between these two? But now talking about physical differences, the biggest physical difference this year is gonna be the camera control button. And that's this little guy over here that you see. Now look, it's really cool that we have this new button to use. Do I actually end up using it? I'll be honest with you guys, the only thing that I end up using with the camera control button is to actually activate the camera and open it up. Like, that is the only thing that I end up doing with that button. So once I'm actually in there, pressing down, switching between things, I don't really find that useful. So technically you can do quite a bit with this actual button. Now in practice, having these new iPhones for nearly a month now, like I mentioned, I've basically not used this feature at all. I do actually find it convenient as a quick access button, so I can basically jump into the camera by clicking it. And what makes it even sweeter is I can go ahead and remap these two buttons. So now I have the calculator that I can just quick press here and get into. One thing that I did figure out that I could do with this camera control button, which does make this infinitely more useful, I can jump into the camera control button settings and I can actually put it to trigger Instagram or some other camera or some other app that's related to the camera. So now I have the camera button over here. So if I want to go into the camera, I can just press that and get into the camera. Or if I've mapped this now to Instagram, I can just press this and it'll automatically go into my Instagram stories. Really handy. I think that was a good feature that Apple did integrate into this. Now that pretty much sums up the differences that we have between these two phones physically. Now, one thing to note here is that the new 16 Pro Max is actually slightly slippery. Wow, okay, that was not planned, I promise. Okay, this phone is actually slightly slipperier compared to the 15 Pro Max. I'm sure it has partially to do with the larger size, but I also think it has to do with the fact that the coating on the sides here has changed now. The 15 Pro Max had this brushed look here, versus now we just have this coating on here, which is no longer brushed. Now that in theory has resulted in a slightly slippery phone. However, good news for you guys. A lot of us are probably gonna throw a case on this phone, which brings me to the sponsor of today's video. So in today's day and age with Magsafe and everything like that, a lot of us end up getting like a case, a kickstand, as well as a magnetic ring in order to get some better grip on our actual phone. What if I told you we don't need any of this stuff? Instead, all you gotta do is pick up one of these cases here. Now, these are the Torras cases, and I'll be honest with you guys, okay? I had not heard of this brand until this year, and I'm actually glad that they reached out because these cases are pretty fantastic. Now, this is called the Ostand 360-degree spin fusion phone case, and I'll tell you why this thing is pretty dope. First of all, the case itself feels pretty good. It's made of this plastic material, but on the back you have this nice soft touch plastic, which does give you a nice elevated feel for a plastic case. All the buttons are nice and cut out so that when you actually press them, it doesn't feel like you have to press extra hard. Now the camera control button has a nice indentation over here, and then all this swiping is not a problem at all with this case. I like how they've dealt with it here. You still get that nice protection. The lip covers the entire case, so your front screen is protected. But my favorite feature is what they've done with this MagSafe ring here. Now, at first inspection, it looks like just a regular ring, you know, to give you better MagSafe connectability. So if you had like a wireless charger or something like that, it still works with it, right? And it's a nice strong connection over here. But what this doubles as is, it is a ring. And the kicker is, this thing can be spun around whichever way you want. So not only will this work as like a stand, if you were to put it down, you can use this in portrait mode. The hinge on this is really strong. So you can angle it in all sorts of levels and it will kind of stay there. You could also use it to like put your fingers in, hold it, take selfies if you need to, do all sorts of things. But yeah, if you're interested in picking up any of these cases or the screen protector or any of their other accessories, then I'll have them linked in the description down below. So make sure you guys go ahead and check it out. Okay, so we've talked about the physical differences. Let's quickly talk about the internal differences. Now, the speed difference isn't actually noticeable. However, you do get a faster processor with the brand new 16 Pro Max with the brand new A18 Pro chip versus the A17 Pro chip. But if you are a hardcore iPhone user and you use your phone for like gaming or video editing and stuff like that, then you might actually notice slight improvements because the chip is actually faster. It's not gonna make your phone as hot and warm as the 15 Pro Max as well. The other big thing here is Apple Intelligence. Now, Apple Intelligence features will be coming to the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. Keep in mind, they don't come to the iPhone 15, only the Pro and Pro Max. So technically, there's really not much reason to upgrade if you have the 15 Pro and Pro Max and you're looking for all the brand new AI features, which are still not out yet, by the way. Now, one big thing that I want to talk about these two phones here is the battery life. The 15 Pro Max, I gotta be honest, I can barely get through a day. It's been a year of usage and it's not like it got bad at the end and only the past few months. It was bad after like the first 2 months. I could barely get through an entire day without having to charge at like 8 p.m. And honestly, for a Pro Max phone of this size, I mean, it was kind of disappointing, to be quite honest. And now, however, with the 16 Pro Max, I'm able to get through the entire day, and I would say even a day and a half, no problem. In fact, I would say the new 16 Pro as well is pretty much comparable to the 15 Pro Max battery. That's how much better the chipset and like the optimization they've done with the chipset, as well as the entire OS and everything that's running on this phone has gotten. Albeit, I will say the 16 Pro and Pro Max are new devices, so I'll probably have to report on this in another couple months. So make sure you guys are subbed for my follow-up reviews of these phones, and I'll let you know if the battery life is still as good as it is right now. If battery life is a major concern for you guys travel a lot and you guys want to be able to not have to worry about battery life, then the 16 Pro Max is definitely the way to go. Man, it is so cold. Canada, fall season, although I love it. Sweater weather. Okay. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so first and foremost, one of the reasons why I can honestly see even upgrading from the 15 Pro Max to the 16 Pro or 16 Pro Max is if you are a professional photographer, videographer, this is your method of making income. Some of these features, like for example, let's list them down, okay? Firstly, the 4K 120. Now, look, I'll be honest, 8 times out of 10, I'm using 60 frames per second for slow motion. However, having 4K 120 in ProRes log in your pocket is an absolute game changer. Now, the other big difference comes with this lens over here, and that is the ultra wide lens. This year, the ultra wide lens has been beefed up to like 48 megapixels, which is gonna be a pretty big difference. The quality and the sharpness of this new 48 megapixel lens is absolutely fantastic. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is right now, it is very windy. Like, here's proof. I don't know, can you see the trees? Like, they're going crazy. The 16 Pro Max can also do different sorts of recording. So let me show you a couple examples right now. This is standard, and this is basically just gonna blast the audio in like all 4 mics and just give you everything. And then you have in-frame, which is basically gonna try to isolate my voice for you guys. You have studio, which is going to also make me kind of sound like I'm sitting in a studio, which is very tough right now, albeit because of this environment that I'm in right now. And then lastly, you have cinematic, which will give you a bit of my voice, but also a bit of the surrounding environment to kind of show you a little more of a cinematic look and feel, if you may. Now I just kind of want to conclude and talk about my actual real-world usability and my experience with these phones. Now, keep in mind, I've been using the 15 Pro Max for the past year, and I've been using the 16 Pro Max for the past month. So I think the 16 Pro and Pro Max is actually more of an upgrade for you if you're a photo and video enthusiast, like I mentioned earlier in this video. If you really want those extra camera features, you want those extra audio recording features, or you want better battery life, the camera control button, like all of these like neat little things, it may seem small when you kind of look at them individually. However, when you put them all together, these little quality of life improvements do add up, especially if you are somebody who keeps your phones for several years at a time. So if you're somebody who keeps your phone for a long time, I would just spend a couple $100 extra bucks and go with the 16 Pro or Pro Max, because it's just gonna future-proof you and you get the latest phone with the latest features. So it almost seems like a no-brainer to me. I can also see a big argument here for people if they're a huge gamer or a video editor, because you do get a slightly larger screen size along with better, faster processing. So overall, if you look at the package that you're getting with the 16 Pro and Pro Max, it's actually more of a difference than initially that meets the eye. So frankly, in my opinion, a lot of these YouTubers out there that are saying like, no, the 16 Pro is a trash upgrade, I disagree with them. I think actually these little quality of life improvements do add up, and it does make this phone a bigger upgrade than we're kind of noticing initially. But look, I'll say this, if you're looking for the best experience you can get from a Pro phone, and you don't really care about the camera control button and those shortcuts and all these little things that I mentioned in this video, and the battery life you're okay with, you've been fine in the past, then honestly, I would still spend the extra 200 bucks and go with the 16 Pro Pro Max. It's not a huge difference. Now look, where it does become a huge difference is if you're going to like the third-party market, you're buying completely used, or some of these phone carriers are gonna discount the 15 Pro and Pro Max much more heavily. In those cases, yes. And here's the thing I will say for you guys who are looking at getting the 15 Pro and Pro Max, your money is well spent, even with the 15 Pro and Pro Max, because Apple is gonna give you all of the intelligence features, and you pretty much get 90% of the same experience that you're gonna get with the 16 Pro and Pro Max. So that is a huge plus. But let me know in the comment section down below what you would do and which phone you're going with and what you think is the better buy. And until then, I will see you guys in one of these two videos. Take care, stay blessed, peace.